right, get
the
back
one.
on mic.
I don't want to say.
So we're going to talk about another one that
All right.
I was selfishly decided to do two. Because
No,
you
this
let
was
it
not-
roll.
this
I
wasn't
said I could
selfish.
only do the one, and
This
you were like,
wasn't
"No, we'll do both."
selfish.
I didn't understand the homework.
You really didn't understand the assignment is what this came down to. And when you first said it, I thought, okay, no big deal.
That works.
And then as soon as I
That's what I
looked,
was banking on.
but then as soon as I went to obtain this movie, it was
I think-
crystal clear
I
that
think
it was
Brian
like,
ruined it first because he was like, "That's a Christmas movie,
It's a
anyways."
Christmas movie.
but he is correct.
I understand now.
This is a
I
tier
never
one.
saw it. I
This
wanted
is
to watch
tier
it.
one Christmas movie.
I wanted
Alert,
to-
tier 1.
I wanted to experience it. It was one of those ones that had always been on the periphery that I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool to watch. That'd be cool to watch." So if anything, there was just an excuse for me to watch it. You guys just had to sit through it too.
That is a good movie. That's how I was kind of introduced to that movie. Like, I saw something on YouTube, I think, and I was like, that looks interesting. And like a month later, I was like, yeah, I think I'll get that and watch it. And I
Yeah.
did, and I was pleasantly
It's
surprised.
an interesting premise. All right, so the movie's called Rare Exports,
Yep.
which I think is subtitled A Christmas Tale or something
It
like
sure
that.
is now. Yes.
Which is from the little bit of research I did into it, is a co-production Swedish and English production that they decided. It started as a short film that went to a couple of different festivals and stuff, and then it got enough financial backing that they did a full movie for it. So it's about Scandinavian area. I think they're like right outside of Russia. I don't know. I know that it
It's on the
says where
border,
they
yeah.
are specifically, but it's winter climate, or always winter, I guess, up there, because the days and night cycle seems like kind of off in this.
Sure.
But it's about a group of farmers, I guess, and their kids that come across this.
I would say subsistent livers. Like, they subsist off of the land and what it offers. So they're banking
it's a
on
tiny
that.
village.
Yeah, and they're banking on that reindeer.
Right. So they seem to
haul.
hunt
the
and
meat
or
they get from the
or
reindeer every
cultivate
year.
from reindeer.
Right.
And there's
without
this,
it, they'll probably struggle or starve.
and there's this private organization that's up on this mountain that seems to be digging something, or
America.
well, I don't think it is English.
I'm pretty sure.
I think.
Are they English? I
Yeah,
thought
they're
they were
English.
Americans.
No, they're English.
Okay, well, fine. The lousy Brits are up
I
there.
don't know why they specifically were drilling up there to begin with, but the idea in the beginning is that they hit a patch of wood. They get wood grain out of the drill, and they're like, we don't understand why there'd be wood all the way down in the middle of this mountain and stuff. And then they start investigating whatever it is and find there's this big hollow frozen mass that's down there. It's Santa Claus, everybody. There's Santa Claus is
Just
buried inside of a
ruined the
mountain.
Nah,
That's where he is.
We're going. Yeah,
That's
go
what it is.
all in.
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyways, this one particular kid, the most intelligent person in this entire movie,
Yeah, right.
seems to think that he speculates that it's Santa. He does a whole bunch of this research on these old books that there's no library that exists in this area of the world. I don't know where the heck he's getting all these old books.
I think
but
a lot
it's-
may be passed down through word of mouth.
Maybe
like
it could be.
tradition,
So, but it's an old style, dark age version of Santa, the older fairy tales
punishes.
before, as he
Yeah.
says, it's not the Coca-Cola Santa. I think that is one of
It is not the Coca-Cola.
subtitles. So he realizes that there's a entity that seems to be spying on him, and his dad happens to set a trap outside of their home where they was hoping to catch wolves, and he ends up catching a naked old man
Yep.
with a big old beard. And then
kind of creepy. I would.
it's
say.
creepy.
Yeah.
So this is it's rated R for one thing,
Which I
and
thought was weird.
I think I know why.
well, yeah.
There's some
And I
gore
didn't catch it, I guess. but
in it,
yeah.
not the gore that are done to humans, but you see some butchery and stuff in it. You see some blood and stuff that happens, but
Would that make it R? Like a
Maybe.
baby being butch?
well,
That's
it's
the
R
thing.
rating.
Yeah.
Hours for America. So overseas, I don't know if it is considered a mature kind of thing.
So I'd seen this movie previously, and I thought for sure this was gory. In my mind, I remember it being really gory.
I
And
thought it was going to be.
When I rewatched it again, there was hardly no gore.
Yeah, not really.
And I was just blown away. It kind of
it like puts itself into making it a horror movie, but it's kind of not.
It's not. Yeah.
I mean, there's like one jump scare, and that's kind of it.
Comical at the end,
Sort of,
but
yeah.
in a good, in my mind, in a good, like, I thought this was a fun watch. I always liked this movie.
It elaborates on the Santa myth in
Yeah.
the sense that, and I like that idea. I like the idea of not just like saying, oh, it's like Tim Allen Santa Claus. We don't know how it actually works. There's rules to this and stuff. But in the sense that, like all fairy tales, there's a darker subtext to it. Like Saint Nick was a real person, but there are certain, and just like I mentioned earlier with like the colloquialism, like we don't know where cracked up came from. There's a lot of the myth that exists with Santa that we don't know, not regularly, and it's not common knowledge. Like, why does he go down chimneys? Why is there like stockings?
The milk and cookies.
Why
all
is
of
there
this
milk and
stuff.
cookies?
Yeah,
This is all
yeah.
appropriated stuff that's come from either different cultures or we kind of gotten sold into for just the nature of like Christmas in general and how it's become so commercial and stuff. But like that darker side of it, like Krampus, it was probably like, it's more similar to that idea, but it's not. It's not him specifically. I brought it up. There's his version, one of the versions, interpretations of Santa that exists out there, that the name of it is the Jolupikin. Jolupiki?
Okay.
Jolupiki? I think that's it. Which basically means the Yule goat. So
Okay.
it's not Santa as a man. He's literally a goat man. Which is
that
still
would explain the ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still similar to
Yeah.
like a Krampus-esque, but that's supposed to be a separate individual.
Reminded me of a bantha. Right?
Yeah.
In ice.
No, I get you. Sure.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from there.
So finished Christmas figure, it's rather than it being a person or a man or something, it's this goat. Not goat man, it's like a literal goat. They make effigies and stuff of it as like straw over there. It's more of a tradition than it is like the actual. Now it's got appropriated because Santa's still a thing over there too, but that's a tradition that still sticks around. Anyways, for the movie, old man, they capture him. He doesn't react to being poked or prodded or even operated on almost until a child gets close enough to him, and then he seems to get interested. And not
Creepy.
in that creepy way. I mean, it's still kind of creepy, but
That's
like
why it's rated R.
the closest thing that you kind of get to like any kind of mythological or I guess supernatural thing is that his eyes kind of go all ambery, glazed over whenever he looks.
I caught that too.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be like in the context of the myth, because the myth is, which this is a very differing myth than what we were to understand Santa's supposed to be doing. They say naughty and nice and stuff like that, but their context is, I guess if you're nice, that requires you to get kidnapped and then replaced with a stuffed bale of hay that looks like a kid.
That sounds like Dwight from The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
His
we could be
interpretation of it?
missing some things
There, it is very
based on the culture.
Yeah, the culture
Right.
is the difference in exchange for what we understand they celebrate Christmas and see Santa as versus the very Coca-Cola version of it that we're all aware of is different in that sense. So again, he seems to be kidnapping or taking children because that's a theme that they realize that the kids are gone. Well, the little kid is the only one who seems to care. All the adults in the movie, which I found out that the dad in this.
I was gonna mention that.
Did you watch Sisu?
No, but I know it's
a
him.
fun revenge movie. It's not as good as everybody says, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just.
I didn't know.
It was on the
Ah.
list and just
Yeah.
never got to it, right? So yeah.
When I saw it again, I was like, "That's that
guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it
because this was just from like this COVID era, so it's like 22, 21, something from
it
like
wasn't
that.
long ago.
And this is a lot older, right?
It's like 2010, I think. This is like
It's
over
old.
10 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah,
Yeah.
2010. The kid apparently is in that in Sisu too.
I didn't know that.
He's one of the
Wow.
Reunion.
part of the military or something like that.
Okay.
He's significantly older,
very
obviously.
stylized, hyper violent,
Oh yeah, no,
fun watch. Yeah.
yeah.
Just once probably
Sure,
would be
sure,
enough,
sure,
but
sure.
it's fun.
Holy crap! I just realized I didn't say what the name of this movie was.
You did.
Yeah, we
Did I
did.
say
yeah.
it said
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
Rare Earth Exports? Oh no, I did. I'm stupid.
Red
Never mind.
Exports.
Red Exports. Or what did you say?
I
You said
made a move.
something imports.
It was like basic imports or something. I don't know.
Foreign-
I don't remember.
Pure
Foreign imports or something. I don't
That's
know
what it
right
was.
yet.
Pure One Imports.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
exist anymore. So the other thing that I thought as I was going through it, I was like, there's kind of some thing elements to this, or
Yeah.
influences
Buried
to
in
this.
ice, dug
Like,
up,
The fact
let
that it's
loose, essentially.
kind of like, guys just start disappearing.
Yeah.
They get taken. Are they getting killed? Do we ever see them get like bodies from the adults?
Don't think so.
I don't know.
But that goes back to the lack of gore. I almost feel like that was a cost-cutting thing. 'Cause
Could
the
be.
movie, you can tell.
It
The
looks
budget's
great.
not high. It looks great.
But
the
it-
shots, the cinematography
Yeah.
on that movie is beautiful. But you can tell there's a budget thing. Like, it's not made for a lot.
Right.
And that may go back to the short story nature of it. Like,
Yeah, there's only like 4
it
main
was a
characters.
short, yeah, and then it became a bigger thing.
It's a little wild in that third act, though, considering
Oh, it's
that
super
budget,
wild.
man. Like,
Super
That's kind of
wild.
where it goes
Okay,
off the
yeah.
rails.
So we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that because that's the most interesting part about it. So
Right.
spoilers, I guess, for everyone. So you come to find out that the Santa that they capture isn't the only Santa. There is multiples of them, but they're not Santa. They're the elves.
And
They're
all
just
naked.
normal-sized
Boy,
men with big
are
old
they.
beards that are
They
running
got
around
big old something
naked.
running around.
I sure do, and you see it. Brian said he couldn't
Even
really
in
tell,
the
but
cold
I
did
guess
not
I
appear
was
to
looking
impact them
away.
that much.
in HD they dangle. All the bits
I
dangle.
watched that on the projector and I was like, "Good lord,
Yep, that's
that's a
totally
lot
fair.
of wang."
Your kids locked in and like, Dad, what are you watching? Please stop.
It's all a big old porno. It's just got corralled with all those men. But they're the threat. So they're kidnapping kids, and then they kind of like they're sort of like staggering, walking around. They could use.
Yeah.
They're picking up weapons, it seems, and then they get distracted by gingerbread like really easily.
The ending is where it really goes off the
It gets
rails.
over the
Which
top.
is
It's
kinda
the-
disappointing.
The helicopter.
The
I mean,
helicopter.
everything. It's just
So,
like,
Yeah.
so the kid comes up with an idea. Why he comes up with the genius idea of these adults who seem totally capable. The dude
Oh, it's
made
E.T.
a wolf trap.
Yeah, it's E.T.
Like,
the
he
kids
should
know
have been.
everything.
And one of
yeah.
them can just fly a helicopter for no reason.
yeah.
So all the kids, they come to find out that all the kids are kidnapped and put into burlap sacks. The potatoes thing was pretty funny. And then they get put in a hangar that has a giant frozen version of Santa, which is huge and has horns. So it's not traditional Santa. And all the elves apparently have brought them there and stolen heaters from around the village to try and melt
Stoves,
him.
ovens,
Yeah.
And so the kid comes up with the genius idea that they're going to use the helicopter to put all the kids in that are alive in burlap sacks,
Yelling
into
and
this-
writhing.
yeah, and in this cargo net to hoist it up with the kid on it,
Which is another
riding
odd
on it
choice.
as they fly the helicopter away to lure away the elves so that they don't interfere with them destroying the real Santa. So all right, there's a whole Game of Thrones-esque flood over the hills of naked old men that are chasing this is the most expensive shot that probably existed in this movie, and it happens to be all naked old men that they had to animate and have identical running across the fields of
Copy
somewhere
paste.
in Scandinavia, and they blow up Santa, and then they corral all the Santas. Okay, so
The elves.
again, all the elves. So the whole movie, I feel like, as I made my notes here, I feel like the whole ending should have been just the last third of this movie as the main story. They could have summed all this up in like the first half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and then it could have just been them sending out Santas, the elves that they interpret as Santas, capturing them, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark style, shipping them all around the world, and then dealing with ramifications when they go nuts around kids or something like that. I feel like that would have
That
been a
could have been
lot more
interesting.
interesting, just as an idea, as a mall Santa being a commodity. And they don't even say that they are like sending them to like they're the equivalent of
Whoever
like
buys
Santa
them.
malls or something.
Yeah.
Because there's less than 200 of them. Like you can't have a ton.
Sure.
Like you can only send so many around the world, and then you're out. But I guess they're just trying to recoup their losses for the reindeer
That's
and
where the
stuff.
movie
and
kind of just falls apart.
it
at
does.
that point.
It's just there's a really weird sunrise as all those old men are cresting that hill. There's
if you
some
like
cool
naked old
shots
dudes,
if you like
this
naked old
movie
dude.
is for you.
And
I will say I love two acts of this movie, the first act, second act, I love it. The setup.
It is creepy and interesting.
It definitely starts off creepier than it becomes, and then the third act is where it just kind of falls apart. I still would like suggest this to somebody. Like my sister's a huge horror fan. If she's never seen it and she's okay with subtitles, watch it. It's fun. You'll laugh, or you'll be engrossed in the first two acts, and by the end, you'll just kind of like chuckle and laugh it off as
just
okay.
the awkward,
just the pure oddity, the spectacle of it all at the end. We can't even state how ridiculous it gets, but it's pretty terrifying how it just flies off the rails.
Did you see Krampus?
But it's fun.
I've seen Krampus.
Is this better than that?
I think so. Krampus to me feels a little more forced in the sense of like
too much horror or too.
I just again like it doesn't have it like this movie has a little bit of a good heart to it.
Yeah, it does have.
And I feel Krampus is a little more cynical. I have a hard time really verbalizing what my problems are with Krampus. I'll just be honest. I'll be honest with you. Like again, I think these like if I were putting a DVD 2-pack together, like a double feature to sell somewhere, these two go very well together in the sense of.
I mean, it's totally different, but
yin and yang kind of thing.
Well, I don't. You guys really
I haven't
think
seen
they're that
Krampus.
much different?
I haven't seen Krampus.
I haven't either.
Oh wow! Oh no!
That's why I asked you.
Oh, I assumed everybody had watched it in here. No, it's a dark Christmas movie. No. They're similar in the sense of like.
Well, I was my thinking was if it's more horror, that one is more horror than this is.
It's a little more polished. It's a little more of a monster movie.
Okay.
Krampus is more of a monster movie. And there's some funny kind of gremlin scenes in it too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's worth watching.
Okay.
I think what this one brings is a little better than what that one does.
Because
I prefer this imports or exports, whatever it is. I prefer this exports movie over Krampus. I don't hate Krampus. It's just fine. But a lot of people do really enjoy it. And I think, again, this is a good... as far as recommending, I would use Krampus as the baseline. I would go, well, have you seen Krampus? Did you enjoy it?
Okay.
If you did, then you'll probably like this movie.
Because there's not really anything else that's similar to this outside of... Because it deviates so much from the Santa myth. That's the only equivalent, really.
These movies... Krampus feels like I want to make a dark Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like it
called Black Christmas.
It feels very like... it doesn't feel natural. Like, I don't know.
Cynical? If you had to say,
is cynical,
this one is a legit tier 1 Christmas movie. It's ingrained in Christmas for the most part. What is that Krampus movie then?
Well, it's still tier 1.
It's a monster
movie. It is tier 1,
right?
Yeah,
it's just a monster movie during Christmas. Okay.
It's about essentially...
There's a lot of people who are like, you probably should have watched that better.
A monster Santa Claus that comes if you've been bad.
Yeah.
That's what that is. If you're bad, Krampus comes. If you're good, Santa comes. And it's all about
never shall the two meet.
So again, I don't...
Or it's Santa versus Krampus. It's a duel-off like Freddy versus Jason.
Right.
I'm not crazy about that Michael Dougherty guy.
Trick or Treat, man.
He did Trick or Treat.
Oh, yeah.
X-Men 2.
Doesn't do a lot. He helped write X-Men 2.
He hasn't done a lot.
But he wrecked Godzilla. He made Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like...
I didn't know that.
I had nothing against that movie.
To me, it's misses... And maybe because he had ruined
Spikes are better
Godzilla
than
already, and then I watched Krampus.
Well, there you go.
But when I heard... Well, I think I watched Krampus first. Because I remember when I heard...
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, all right. This Krampus thing it's better than Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
But not by a whole lot.
I don't know how you can compare those two things.
I'm not big on Trick or Treat.
I'm not big on Trick or Treat either, right?
No.
I know a lot of people love it.
Yeah.
But again, it's
the best modern mythology
it's
horror,
the iconography.
Halloween
it's all
movie
it is to
created
me.
in the past 20
like
years.
if you take that kid and that little pumpkin and the sack and all that stuff, if that's not in there, people don't care
Well,
about
it's
that
something
movie.
to put on a T-shirt. That doesn't make it a good movie for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just how I
It's
look
an
at it.
anthology. It's
I don't
creep
think
show.
those
I didn't
stories are
like it.
really that good. So overall, this movie definitely tier 1.
It's fine.
This
fine.
movie is okay.
It's only like an hour long.
It's okay to recommend to, again, a certain demographic of people. This isn't an everybody thing.
No,
It very much falls under, again, it kind of
Subtitles
feels like, are
limited.
you one of those people who starts talking about Halloween after the 4th of July? Then here's a Christmas movie for you, right?
That's my sister, yeah.
That's pretty much what this is for,
Yeah.
right?
I kind of,
So-
you know what, in previews and stuff, and what I had seen before this, because I only watched it this once, I kind of thought it was going to have more of a Goonies feel to it.
Really?
And I don't know why. Or like the Explorers or something like that. Or
There aren't enough
like
characters.
Well, they're definitely there's not
Yeah.
enough kids, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Aside from the weird, creepy, or dumb-looking kid with his
mullet kid.
the mullet kid who basically walked right out of Terminator 2 and John Connor's friend. He's just got like a shark tooth
cigarette.
earring, drinking smoking his cigarettes. I don't know. I kind of expected more from that adventure kind of level and less of the horror stuff, but it's different. It's a different interpretation.
That's what kind of
Okay.
got me to watch it. I saw it on a horror list, and like I said, it really isn't that much
Not
horror.
really.
But
No.
it's still a decent watch.
It's a dark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's a good Christmas alternative to whatever. So while it's a tier 1 Christmas movie, it's not a purely conventional tier 1 Christmas
Right.
movie, right?
And that's
So-
funny that tiers aren't necessarily a rating of good or bad.
No,
it's
this is
just where it
Christmas
sits.
categorization, Christmas level.
In terms of
And it is a level
Your-
1 Christmas
your
movie.
most holiday tier
Yeah.
1
Can't-
to like your
Yeah,
minimal
there's
holiday.
nothing
Do
tier
without
left.
Santa.
There's
I mean,
nothing
yeah.
left. in this
Everything
movie.
that is a Hallmark Christmas movie is like beyond tier 1. This is like the very lowest of tier 1.
Yeah.
So, one of the ones that we didn't choose, but is considered a holiday, I'd say considered a holiday movie, is Batman Returns. Okay.
I never thought about that.
Which is fine, but I don't know if that one really would have deserved like a retrospective
Oh, I love
or
that
anything
movie.
on
I
it.
think that would have been fun.
I
But
think
Batman
it-
Returns is great.
I'm gonna say this. I saw it pop up and I was like, that would have fit.
And it would have.
It would have fit.
I never
but,
thought
like-
about that.
Yeah.
But like
I didn't
just
put a lot of thought
wanted
into
it to be
this,
kind of
honestly.
like a little
Okay.
more. No, your choice was fine.
I can talk about
I enjoyed
everything.
the heck out of it. I can't wait till we talk about it. But like, in the sense that colloquially, like through passage of time, Batman itself has never really had Christmas affinity. With the few exceptions that may have existed for like the 66 Batman and, you know, the
Yeah.
Burton
Well, the
movie and
first
stuff.
animated episode from the animated series is a Christmas special.
Not really.
No, the first episode is either the Red Claw one or it's the Man Bat one. Of the animated series?
It's the
No,
Joker.
yes.
It's
Dude,
the Joker
I remember
special.
this airing during prime time and recording it on VHS.
To the
It is-
internet.
It is either Man Bat or Red Claw.
We'll look at it later.
We will.
It's either Man Bat or this Christmas special.
No, I don't think so. All right, so my point is...
It's not Red Claw.
I'm fairly certain it is. All right. It's a Catwoman episode. Or no, it's not Catwoman. No, it is, because I remember watching it and being like, I don't know who this villain is. And why would you have the beginning of this show and not have like a classic villain?
Yeah, why would you have the beginning of the show and not have a classic
I don't
villain
think I'm
in
wrong
it?
about this. Anyways.
Who are you
we're-
saying it is? Clawman?
Red Claw
Who's
is
It's
the
an
heck
like
is
a
assassin.
Russian
It's
assassin.
basically like...
lady. It's like someone for Catwoman to fight, I guess.
No,
Okay.
they- she's like League of Assassins, but League of Assassins didn't exist then.
Okay.
So like an offshoot for Ra's al Ghul. They may have tied her to Ra's al Ghul
Maybe,
in
it
like the
feels like
later
maybe they
comics
did.
and stuff. But she was just a
Throwaway,
She's a
like...
Throwaway-
she's
yeah,
a
one of the-
punch. Yeah,
one of the few
Punch.
animated. It's like Hordak or like any of the
Yeah.
or any of the robot. It's just early season 1 Batman characters that weren't the established villains that they just
Okay.
threw in there. Okay, so where the heck did the Jingle Bells parody come from?
Jingle Bell Batman smells.
Yes.
Oh, that's been around
Kids,
since I was a
I-
But
kid.
but where did it come from?
No,
Is it like
kids just-
blowing into NES
I
cartridges?
bet
Did it
your
just start?
I bet your dad did that when he was a
No,
kid.
it is
No?
but it's in media. Joker does it in one of the TSA episodes. It is not just like a thing that like culturally we just kind
I
of
wonder if
attached
an old
to.
comic created it.
Where did it come from?
Maybe a commercial.
This was the realization
I don't know.
that I was like, was it just a rhyme that
I
kids
bet
just
Timmy
invented?
would know. I bet your dad or Tim would
If
know.
only
I don't think so.
You had access to some resource that you could
I'm
have.
just
I didn't
saying-
want to. I wanted to
It
bring it up.
It's done the
just
research
as a
to have this
conversation.
answer.
Why would I bring this up and just
Why would I be prepared?
throw the answer at you? I wanted just to talk about it and like make the realization that like
Where
did
did
this
it?
come
What's its
from?
origins?
You know what? I wonder if I just learned it from the Davises, though. Now that I think about it.
Kids knew it
Did-
at school though.
you-
That
Okay,
weren't us.
okay.
You had-
Yeah, it's not us.
You had
That's
no
not
thinking
us.
on your
Yeah,
own
yeah.
outside of what's been appropriated from us.
Dude, I was 2. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I have no.
I mean, again, I think it transcends our age group by far.
I wouldn't know.
but
'Cause
I'm curious where it started though.
sure now, yeah.
Like, because it has defined lyrics. It's not just,
No,
rhyming
it's-
for the... And everyone kind of knows the iteration of it. It's weird. It's really
It
weird
is
when you
weird.
start to think about it.
Where does that stuff come from?
I would assume Adam West era is where it originated.
But why?
I would guess.
And
60s.
why specifically A, Jingle Bells, and B, like,
It's got
Man,
the
who
rhymes.
knows?
Robin-
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Robin laid an egg, like all the... It's such a weird context. It's obviously
That
making
sounds
fun.
like something that Spider-Man Noir would say. Robin laid an egg, which leads further into the older origins of
Sure.
it. I think.
Well,
right?
it's like a
laid an egg is something.
1930s
Yeah,
and
something that would have
40s.
been
Well-
said.
Well, that's
Robin's
true.
a bird.
It's like it is
Oh
true.
my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
That's why he lays an egg. Robin's a bird.
Oh, I thought it was-
male bird.
I'm just saying,
I
a
assume-
robin
well,
can lay an egg.
What's funny is I've never thought about it like that. I've always just
Okay.
thought, well, Robin just dropped the
He
ball.
just
and
drops
Robin's
an
laid,
egg, yeah.
Robin's
One of
the
those-
worst,
Okay.
right? Like,
The Batmobile lost its wheel and Joker got away. Like, why would that have happened? I don't know.
I bet it's
just
just
for
some
rhyming
Christmas
convention.
jingle that came
So
up in the
it's
60s.
kind of like something else I learned where it's realizing where things have come from, the etymology of where things have come from.
Sure.
Like specifically that we common English knowledge or English conversation, our grammar and stuff, where we didn't realize where something's
I
come
was
from.
just thinking about this yesterday. Now, is this recording?
oh, we've been recording.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I wanted this
Well,
to be
never
at the
mind.
beginning. It's such a dumb conversation that
I
Never
started
mind.
just kind of at the beginning
I'll
of all this.
pass.
We'll save that for
Okay,
off
yeah.
mic. Gotcha.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so my reference is my other thing that I realized is where cracked up came from, or cracking up came from.
Cracking up. Okay.
Like I'm cracking up.
yeah, yeah.
It's from an old French society, high society in France,
Okay.
where they wore so much makeup
That
and
when they
like caked it on
smiled-
when they smile it would crack.
Wow.
And then that's where they would say,
And
"Oh,
we're
you're
still
cracking
saying
up."
that? Holy
and we're
cow.
yeah, dude, like it's super weird like when you start thinking about
is
like
crazy.
how our grammar, how our like just normal references to things where we're making light of like it's not even a reference. We don't know it's a reference. It's just in
It's
language.
part of society. Yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
interesting.
Like when I realized that, or when I read that, I was like, "Holy crap, that's right." What else has
Yeah,
like?
what else?
I recently
meanings
learned
that-
one too, but I don't want to further this conversation.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was interesting.
Or we'll be
It is
here all day
interesting.
talking about
Fed into the
this.
Batman
True.
thing.
Stubs. All done.